All right, we're back, baby. Back with another video here, live stream. Something nice and quick on Monday evening over here in the USA. I'm rocking my Jaguars hoodie, my local team here, and I know the Jags are over in England almost every year playing, so hopefully there's some Jags fans over there. But anyway, straight to business. Are Man City back? In my mind, no, we're not back. I'll keep it nice and quick for you guys. We are not back, not just yet. I wish we were, wish we could be, but not as I see it at the moment. We're getting there. We're definitely improved. 6-0 against Ipswich was great, lovely. Happy with that, of course. But and I hate to say just Ipswich, but I mean, it's not a top six side. We have been pretty terrible against the top six in the last 18 months or so. I think only 4 wins in the last 18 months, maybe even less. So we melted against Brentford and we put Ipswich to the sword, so to speak. So pull up real quick the stats here. 6-0, of course. Foden with a brace, back-to-back braces for Foden. Big time performance from him. Very, very impressive. Kovacic got a nice banger goal from outside the box, slow driven bottom corner. Very nice. He doesn't score a lot, but when he does score them, people love to say he only scores bangers, and that was definitely the case yesterday. Holland got a nice kind of a free goal and a giveaway on one of the Ipswich players that Doku passed into Holland. He first time slotted it home, and then game's pretty much out of reach. We bring on some subs, and McAtee slides behind the defense, gets a header, kind of a looping header over the goalkeeper. So all in all, really good performance from City. I won't take away anything from City, but on the Ipswich side of things, really poor. They didn't really offer much outside the first 10, 15 minutes. I thought they were pressing pretty hard the first 10, 15 minutes, and I thought maybe they were going to have a go. But they kind of just melted. It wasn't anything impressive to me, at least from what I saw with Ipswich. Again, dominated the ball. They didn't really create much. You can see here they only had a 0.58 xG. They only had 8 shots. 4 of them on target, but I don't think Ederson was really tested at all. To me, at least, it's just not anything that I was worried about at any point during the game. They were really poor. We can look at the lineup here. Again, man of the match on FOTMob goes to Foden. And for me personally, I've seen a lot of people saying Foden. I've seen a lot of people say Doku, man of the match. But I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give it to KDB. I thought he was impressive. I thought it was one of his best games of the season. They credit him here with 2 assists. One of them might have been taken away. I'm not sure. But KDB was excellent. It seems like his fitness is there, and he's running hard, and he doesn't look tired and leggy. He was up there with Holland basically throughout the night. And same against Brentford. He was our best player against Brentford. And all in all, when you see these back-to-back really impressive performances from KDB, it makes you wonder, are we going to be able to actually, is he going to want to take the contract, and is he going to get the contract offer that he wants that requires him to stay? I don't know. It's a personal thing for him. Does he feel like he can keep going at City and stay in the top league in the world and compete at the highest level? Or does he want to go to Saudi or MLS and kind of enter the chiller mode of his career? Would love to see him come over to MLS one day, play in New York, with the City football group, in that connection there. My team in MLS is Orlando, so of course I'd be thrilled if he came over to Orlando. San Diego is also linked as well as a team. They're actually a new team. It'll be their first year coming up this year in MLS, and they're linked heavily to him as well. They want to make him the center of the project in San Diego out in California. So it's a decision that I think should be made up to him. We should give him the contract that he asked for if he wants it, and if he wants to go, he can go. That's my personal take on it, but if I'm City, I want to keep the guy. There's no replacements out there. You're never going to get a KDB replacement. He is our best ever player. He's my favorite player ever. He's the reason I started watching soccer, and he's the reason I'm a Man City fan. So for me, keep him as long as you can. And I don't think we're at risk of a Kyle Walker situation where he's playing so poorly that the fans turn against him. KDB is always going to have that class and that just ability on the ball to find passes that is unmatched. He's not relying on his athleticism like Kyle Walker is. Kind of like in basketball, guys who can shoot can stay around longer because they have that ability where they can just space the floor and shoot and make open shots. So whereas a guy like that requires athleticism to run up and down the court, he's going to have probably a less prolonged career just because of that need to have that athleticism for longer. So for me, again, KDB, get him on a new contract, keep him 1 year, 2 years. I'm not bothered. Just I don't want to see him go. Elsewhere on the pitch, we see Nunez filling in at right back, which is something interesting. I think it's what we're going to see going forward. I was hoping we get this Cambiasso guy from Juventus, but it doesn't seem like there's anything sturdy there at the moment. Doesn't seem like that has got any traction, at least. If it did, I could see Nunez maybe going back to playing on the wing again. I'm not sure, but right back, Nunez is doing it's all right. He kind of advances forward pretty high in sort of a Gvardiol role, just opposite, which allows Foden to tuck in and get a little more central, which of course is where he's better. And maybe the last two games with Nunez doing that, that's why Foden has looked better and more on form. So going forward, it's something I imagine we'll be seeing. And then Rico will get in there from time to time as well. Center back wise, Ruben Diaz, man, what a guy! Should be our captain. Kyle Walker's out the door. Give it to Ruben Diaz, man. This guy, the leadership, you can just tell. And I hate to be like the revisionist history guy and say if he was playing against Brentford, we win. We don't concede those 2 goals. But I mean, it's hard to say that we don't. The guy you can see it. He's out there commanding the back line, telling people where to go. It's hard to imagine that we don't come away with the win against Brentford if he's on the pitch. And then we have another weird, interesting storyline in this weird season for City is Ederson. Back on the field, seems like he's got a run of games now. Maybe he's back in the first team plan. I still imagine he's going in the summer, but keep him as long as we can. He's better than Ortega. His ball distribution is second to none in the world, and he gets mad hate on his shot stopping ability when it's actually not that bad. Maybe he's not quite as good as Ortega, but it's still good enough to be a goalkeeper at City. And then, of course, Haaland gets a goal. 10-year contract for Haaland. Great way to celebrate it. I don't think he was outstanding overall. He had an early chance in the game that he missed. He should have scored. But, if Haaland gets 2 chances a night and scores one of them, I think roughly on the whole, people will be happy. Doku had a really good game as well. I'm not the biggest Doku guy. I said it in my live stream. I don't really get Doku. I don't get what he provides. For the most part, he just seems so, I want to say spastic, but he seems very unpredictable, I guess is a better word, where he's all over the place. The team doesn't know what he's going to do. Is he going to go byline? Is he going to go cut in? I don't know. And his final ball into his pass or it's a shot, it's always been kind of lacking, in my opinion. But this was one of his better games, no doubt about it. He was very good yesterday. So that's most of what I'm going to talk about with the game. Ipswich was really bad, and City, while you can only play who's in front of you. So 6-0 could not have gone much better. To say we are back though, I think is a little premature. Just my initial take on it. We are unbeaten, I think, in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're unbeaten in 6. Some draws in there that we should have had, of course, but, it's better than losing games. This stretch right here coming up, PSG away, Chelsea at home. Champions League, basically win it and we're advancing. It's essentially a final against Club Brugge. So we have our at Arsenal, an FA Cup tie. We've got Newcastle, we've got Liverpool. This is where we know if we're back or not. Not a game against Ipswich where we just dominate the entire time. That's for me. Hopefully we are back and, guys are getting back from injury and we can be solid and have this foundation where we're moving forward and scoring and the back line is more solid and midfield is kind of getting some sort of solidity and form, but remains to be seen, in my opinion. I will check real quick. I have some bookmarked tweets I just wanted to go over before we wrap it up with today's video. But City Extra, of course, GOAT source of City sources. They are an aggregator, excuse me. Kyle Walker to AC Milan is imminent. Should be happening tomorrow. Maybe he gets announced tomorrow by the main guys in Ornstein or Fabrizio Romano, and then later this week we see pictures and he signs his contract and whatnot. But seems like that is basically done, which is what it is. Sad to see him go, but it was time to go. So sorry, Kyle, but you are no longer a City player anymore, and you're not up to it anymore. So hopefully you do well. I do hope AC Milan and you play well there. Elsewhere, Marmoush is set to undergo his medical tomorrow, which is nice. Tomorrow, hopefully they're announcing Vitor Reis from Palmeiras, and then we get the Marmoush medical. They, City have their time to film their videos and make the content and whatnot, and maybe he gets announced Thursday, Friday, could be Friday probably, and he's on the bench for Chelsea and is maybe able to make a debut at the weekend. We will see. It is on Sunday, the game, I believe, so there should be time, in my opinion, to get him in some sessions and get him on the bench. Elsewhere, weird saga going on with this Juma Ba guy. City were, all intensive purposes ready to sign him, and then talks broke down because we wanted to. He didn't like our plan, and we were going to loan him back, and he wanted to go to Inter Milan because he was ready to play right away. Seemingly that has fallen through, and basically this is the done deal. Now he is going to be going to Lens, which is maybe how we got the Kusanov deal done, and it was all working together to help the clubs out. He's going to go to Lens for the rest of this season, maybe another season as well. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he is 18, and we just signed another 18 and 20-year-old, so it feels unnecessary to have him with us at this point, especially this next 6 months or so. Next season, maybe he's with us. Maybe he's loaned again to Girona or one of our sister clubs, something like that. And then finally, of course, we did announce Abdulkadir Kusanov, 4.5-year contract. First Uzbekistani player to ever play in the Prem. Whenever he makes his debut, he will become that player, which is awesome. 20 years old, and a really exciting prospect, of course. Elsewhere, I had one final thing I was interested in, and I'll pull this lineup back up because our lineup did cause some panic online with this Gundogan Kovacic double pivot midfield sort of deal that we ran. People concerned about his age and just their ability to hold down the midfield. And it ended up working well, and then maybe that's because it was Ipswich and they're just not a good enough team to punish us for how we set the team up that way. But it got me thinking, who is someone that we could find to get this Gundogan role? The 2 seasons ago where Gundogan was able to cover for Rodri if Rodri wasn't in the team, and he was also able to play next to Rodri. So pull up Data MD here, one of the GOAT sites, and I pulled out his season last year at Barcelona, because this year, the stats are not ideal for Gundogan. He was really good for Barcelona last year, actually. So according to these stats down here, the similar players to Gundogan are Pasalic, as well as Odegaard, of course, which is never going to happen. But this guy right here, Pasalic at Atalanta. Yeah, I know he's 29, so we could get him on a cheaper deal. I think Pasalic is one that he would be a very interesting player for squad player. He's kind of in the right age for a squad player. He knows he's coming to City and not ready for full-time sort of role or anything. For me, I think it's a doable deal. He's basically the most similar player to Gundogan we can get, and maybe they could go for it now. But for me, Pasalic is one we should look at going forward. I'm gonna pull up his data right here. Let's do this. FBref. Let's do this. I haven't looked at this yet, but I will do it now, which is the benefit of doing it on live. So, similar players to him, just as I thought. We've got Declan Rice, number 1, who, of course, would be great fit next to Rodri, and someone we went for. We got Jude Bellingham in 5th, similar player. Bryce Mendes is someone I'm a little bit familiar with, who I actually really like. Fabian Ruiz, I know he gets a lot of hate for being at PSG and, you know, all that, but in the Euros, he was really, really impressive for me. Foden and McAllister. So Pasalic is someone that's underrated. I don't think he's super known worldwide, at least for the City fans. In my mind, I'm sure, you know, most of the experts out there will tell you Pasalic is something special. But I mean, you look at these stats here; they are extremely impressive stats, and I think he'd fill the Gundogan role really well. Assuming in the summer we are not able to get Bruno G, who is, you know, the $100 million man that seems like we don't want to spend the money there. So maybe this guy's not a full-on 6 to you know, replace Rodri, but he definitely would be able to play next to him, and seems like he'd be technically gifted enough to do so in a Pep Guardiola team. Just my opinion, from what the data tells me. Now, I'm no expert, but I do love looking at the advanced analytics through these websites and see what I can and see what comparisons I can find. So that's it for today. I will be back again tomorrow doing a PSG preview. I do appreciate anybody who watches, just to leave a comment or like or DM me on Twitter, whatever. I would love to have some people on and do some shows where we talk about City and you know, transfers and lineup building, anything like that. But I do appreciate it. Whenever there is more news, I'll be back, and I will definitely be back for a video tomorrow looking at PSG. Hopefully we can keep the momentum going, keep moving, keep getting on track, and be back to our best. But anyway, do appreciate it. I will see you guys tomorrow.